This is Dan Rogers, your host on We the People Town Square, coming to you from the center of the universe, the high plains of Texas, near the headwaters of the Prairie Dog Town fork of the Red River. Today is December the 27th, 2023, and we are in the We the People Town Square studios in Amarillo, Texas, with Chip Hunt, who's running for County Commissioner Place 1. Chip, welcome.
Welcome, Dan. Thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
Let's tell the voters what has inspired you to run for this position.
There's been a number of things. One is the fact that there's been a lot of expenses that are unnecessary to have been unnecessary to have been spent, and there's not been a lot of common sense being used with our taxpayers' money. I want to help curb a lot of excessive spending and unnecessary projects, such as the current Potter Courthouse that is more than 2 years behind move-in date and has just been plagued with one thing over another. And in the beginning, it shouldn't have even been built because all we needed to do, it would have been a lot less expensive to fix the old courthouse as opposed to building a new one. And there was money needed in a lot of other areas to help build up our Potter County Sheriff's Department, help build up a lot of other community roads and stuff like that that we really need done. These are things that help the infrastructure, helping the internet be expanded out into the rural areas. Because Potter County is a very large area, and it is growing by leaps and bounds. And somebody needs to put them in check. I've been doing budgets since I was 12 years old, and I have always been successful. Any company I've ever worked for has made a huge increase, and I currently run 3 very successful businesses of my own. So I thought that with my skills and my abilities, that I was the person to be in there. This is why I wanted to go. The other thing I wanted to hit on was the voting proxies, going back to paper ballots. It is totally wrong that the current commissioners do not even listen to the voters. This is totally reason for impeachment, but it's time for a vote, so that's going to be an impeachment anyway. If it is cheaper to do paper ballots, which it has been proven to be, then we should be doing paper ballots. It's also a thing where we are going to have a lot less fraud with paper ballots, and that has been proven. There's nothing wrong with doing paper ballots, and it's not going to take any more time, and it's going to be a whole lot more accurate. And it's going to cost the taxpayers less money. So therefore, when you're looking at a budget, you want to cut these taxes.
Yeah. Well, my big thing with the machine voting is there's no ballot.
Right.
There's no way you can prove you won.
That's true.
And if somebody alleges fraud, there's no way to prove it. With paper, we can find it and go right to what caused the problem. Correct. And hold people accountable. But with the machines, they could be doing we don't know what they're doing in the machines. Well, I know, but you can't prove it. So why would you have a voting system that's not verifiable?
I'm totally with you.
That costs the county a fortune.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. And again, it goes back to expenditures and what's going to be the most cost efficient and what's going to hold up less fraud.
How many deputies could they hire if they got rid of the electronic voting system?
I would imagine they could probably hire at least 20 new deputies.
Probably.
Which we really do need in the rural areas because it's such a vast area to cover for the deputies. And there's a whole lot that goes on that they can't catch up to, with your drugs and sex trafficking and everything that's going on out there. They have to deal with all the same things that the Amarillo City Police Department have to deal with, only in a lot larger area to cover.
So they have a big area to cover and very limited resources, but we're building a new courts building, and I guess you're going to tear the old courts building down that they're still using today.
And that really goes to my heart, because all Amarillo has been doing has been tearing down their history.
Yeah.
Of course, I run an antique business. I'm into history. And you can't have the tourists that come to town, they want to see the old buildings. Whenever I travel to any other town, I go to look at the old architecture. I take many pictures of the old architecture. And if you're erasing it, then there's nothing for them to come and see.
Well, I don't think if a new courts building is needed, then I think that the voters would say, well, let's do that if the case is made. But my understanding is no case was made to the voters, and they didn't get voter approval, and they issued certificates of obligation in the tune of tens of millions of dollars in order to build that building, which is going on your property tax bill.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And you're going to be paying that for the rest of your life.
Correct. And these are the things that I want to try and hold
without voter approval. And I think that's what upsets people.
That is what upsets people, because you're spending their money.
I mean, they're doing the same thing the city of Amarillo did.
Mm-hmm.
And look what happened to them.
And everybody was paying so much attention to what Ginger Nelson was doing that they weren't paying attention to what was going on over here.
Yep, that's right.
And that building, when it was built, okay, the builder didn't build it to the right specs. They had to go back to the bond and get it annexed for 5,000 square feet. And then you had the problem with the electrical, where the electrician did not put proper outlets in each office. He only put 2 in each office.
And one behind the door.
One behind a door.
So you can't use it.
Yes. And then there was the problem with the whole second floor that you couldn't walk on. You know, and in a high-rise building, that's not a good thing when the second floor is not stable. So there's a whole lot of things there that went wrong. And the only thing I can think of is that there was nobody really overseeing it.
Well, it's my understanding
paying attention to the taxpayer, what the taxpayers want.
But it was the county commissioners that were supposed to be overseeing all that.
Correct.
So they didn't do their job.
Correct.
But yet they get paid.
Sleeping.
But they get paid every month.
Mm-hmm. And they're sleeping on the job. They're not paying attention, and they have been there so long that they have become complacent. They have been in office, especially my opponent has been in office so long that he's complacent. It's whatever, and anything not to rock the boat, and that's not a good thing.
No.
We need to have term limits so that these kind of things don't happen.
Well, we do. They're
and
called
that's
elections.
why we have the four year. Yeah, but I mean, you know, our president can't be in office more than 8 years, so why should anybody else be in there? Any other elected official be in there 20 years or so?
Well, you could try to get that through and see if you could get the other commissioners to go along with it. But I think I enlivened up your opponent the other night.
I heard about that. I'm sorry I missed that. My leg was hurting so badly that I couldn't hardly walk.
Yeah.
And
well, whoever you had draw for you did a good job, because he drew the exact number.
Good.
So you won first place on the ballot. But yeah, they were not happy with how I conducted that ballot draw.
I understand there was a lot of childish behavior going on.
But I thought it was fantastic. It was great. It really, I think, made the point better than we could have ever made it any other way.
Yeah.
It was just phenomenal.
Yeah, I was so.
I wish I had the whole thing on video. I wish I had it.
I wished you had too, because the next morning when I heard about it, all I could think about it: did somebody videotape it? Did somebody put it on their phone? Can I have a copy?
Yeah.
And
well, you're out talking to the voters every day. You know how they think.
Yes.
And I think, you know, from what I hear the same thing. You know, people are very upset about them just squandering money and indiscriminately with a parking garage, $60 million, his courts building at $74 million. None of it approved by the voters.
None.
They just wanted it done, so they did it. And they knew that the voters would turn it down because they couldn't make the case.
Correct.
And that's wrong.
Yeah.
And they don't understand why the voters are upset.
Understand that the voters are voting you in. You are being paid by the voters. You have to listen to each and every one of them, no matter what. And it doesn't matter if you don't see eye to eye with them, but you try and talk to them and come to some sort of resolution that's actually halfway adult, and you don't sit there and just tell them that nothing that they're saying or doing matters. That's what upsets me about a lot of the political genre right now, is that once they get in, it's like, oh, I don't have to talk to you anymore. I don't want to hear what you have to say. And this isn't what I plan on doing. I will still be at my store whenever I'm not doing commissioner duties. I will still be meeting people every single day from the entire region. And believe me, they come from all over the world. And being there 20 years, I have a huge following in that store of people that are constantly coming to me and talking to me. And they know that I'm extremely political. And they all come and ask me, why this? Why that? How do we fix this? How do we fix that? One of my little girls that rents a booth from me recently, she's been so upset with some things. And I finally told her, I said, I didn't make it onto the city council. I can't fix it. You need to go to the meetings. You're not working. You go to the meetings.
Yep.
And you stand up and you have your say-so, because that's what your job is as a citizen, is to stand up and have your say-so. And they need to listen to you. And
Well, I think they will if you show up. The problem,
just don't argue with you. Don't argue.
I think our new city commission will listen. The last one wouldn't. And now we've got to take the same action here at our county commissioners and get some people that will listen, that care about what the voters think and want, not what they want, or not what one person wants that they just follow.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we need leaders, people to stand up and give them a different opinion and perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been so compliant, so, there's a word I'm looking for, but I can't think of it.
Stayed.
Yes, that's a good word. That people just haven't really paid attention. And a lot of the voters don't think that they can change anything. That they can change anything. That they get to thinking that whoever they put in there is going to just start towing the line and doing whatever has been going on all along. And you know, the city's been plagued with complacent. That's the word I'm looking for. The city has been plagued with complacent thought for a long time, where it's just like, this is the way we've always done it, and this is the way we will continue to do it. When I sold real estate for 35 years, and that was one of my biggest things, when I would run up against some older realtor and think the laws change every single day, everything changes, and they would turn to me and they would say, well, that's the way we've always done it. Well, that's not good enough, because
That didn't mean it was right.
changed the law. We've changed the way we do things. So you have to change with that. And that's what I want to see, is getting rid of the complacent thinking.
So you want hope and change.
Correct. Thank you very much.
Well, that's good. But yeah, I think it's always good to have fresh perspectives, fresh blood in all positions politically. I think. You know, the problem is getting people engaged, and I think back to what you started talking about earlier, somebody asked me today, how do you fix this apathy? I said, well, I think it's created by our voting machines, because so many people don't vote because they don't trust them.
Correct.
And everything comes down to trust. Mm-hmm. And if we lose trust in our elections, we lose trust in our elected official. If we lose trust in our elected officials, we lose trust in our government. If we lose trust in our government, bad things happen. People, foreign nations quit buying our bonds. Mm-hmm. Then what happens?
We collapse.
We collapse. So everything, in my opinion, comes down to that simple foundation of our republic, which is our vote. And our ballot box is sacred. We have to protect it. But what our county commissioners have done, they've surrendered it.
Correct.
It's time to charge the fort and take it back.
And that's why Intentions is taking it back, making sure that we have some sort of proper voting.
Well, the people don't understand. It's the county commissioners that can make that decision in their county. They say, oh, the state has to do it. Mm-hmm. Your county commissioners are extremely powerful, mm-hmm. and they have a lot of responsibility, but they've abdicated it. So they kick it off to EA. They create a new position called an EA and let them handle the elections because they don't want to get their hands dirty and it's too complicated and they don't want to mess with it. But that's because we allowed them to make it complicated. Elections are very simple. A high school senior could easily run Potter County's elections with no training.
If I remember correctly, when I was in high school and running for the board of the high school, it just took hand waves in the assembly, you mm-hmm. know, and you were on the student council.
The problem is we have people now that have never been involved in elections when we had an accountable system, and they don't understand how simple it was. But I proved it the other night at our ballot draw. With paper, simple, perfect, it was fun, people were engaged, and then when we went electronic, all these questions came up. It was beautiful. And that's the same way our current system is. They don't want us to go back to the precincts and hand-marked, self-authenticated, tangible ballots that can be verified because they know that if we do, the public is going to love it. It will create a sense of community again, and they can't have that.
Right, because they've been trying to make us become separated and
that's right.
Fighting constantly. And as long as,
yep.
and this is something I have said for years, is that all the people, they want to create chaos so that you're not paying attention to what they're really doing.
Mm-hmm.
And the higher the level politician, the more they want to create chaos. And I don't do chaos. I'm open. I tell you exactly what I think. I tell you where I stand on stuff, and I tell you why. I'm not that parent that says, because I said so. I'm the parent that says, it needs to be this way because this, and this. And that's
so you think independently, you do your research, you make decisions, and you have a discussion and try to educate the people on what you found and ask them if they have any ideas. Yes. And try to build a consensus and solve the problem.
Correct.
And not just sweep the problem under the rug.
That's the way a good, successful business is always run. And running the business of the county is the same as me running my real estate business and my stores. It's the same principles.
So is there anything else you'd like to tell the voters about why they should choose you over your opponent?
Well, I'm going to be available. I'm going to be there. I think independently. I think that the biggest thing that they need to know is that I've got fresh ideas and I've got fresh perspectives, different ways of looking at things than other people, and definitely different than what is currently going on, and I'm very open-minded to things. I do not close my mind off and just blow it off. I stay open-minded, and that's the things that I think they need to know, and that are the big differences between us. It's everybody keeps telling me it's an uphill battle, but I've always been up for battles. I've done it all my life, and I can do it again. And the worst thing is for someone to tell me I can't do something, because if they tell me I can't, I'm going to do it, period. And I'm going to win this race.
Well, we can tell you have the passion. You care about the voters. You care about your community. And I want to commend you for having the courage to stand up and run for public office.
Well, thank you, Dan. I appreciate that.
A lot of people would like to, but they're afraid and they don't know how. So, but you're willing to take it on, and that's commendable.
Thank you. And
well, how do people get a hold of you?
well, it's pretty easy. They can come to me at my headquarters, which is at 6th Street Antique Mall, 2715 Southwest 6th Avenue. Or they can call me on my phone, which is 806-805-1401. And be prepared, if you're not already loaded into my phone, you're just going to have to leave a voice message, because I'm bad about not answering it. And but just leave me a message, and I will get back to you. You can get to my webpage, Chip Hunt for Amarillo, and go
Is
to my
that
webpage.
.com?
Yes, chiphuntforamarillo.com. You can go to my webpage. You can leave messages. You can tell me anything you need to, and
And you got signs that they want to sign in
I
your
have
yard?
lots of signs. I
Yeah.
just got my new signs in, so I'm looking for places to put them. I've already got lots of them out. Unfortunately, pinching this nerve in my back, I'm not able to go door to door. But as soon as I can get this healed up, I'll be out there.
Well, you can pick up the phone and call them, and they'd
Yeah.
probably be just as good, and
Yeah.
might be even better. And
Or they can pick up signs at the store. I've had lots of people that pick up the signs at the store, and I do have
Yeah.
other people that are putting out signs for
yeah,
me.
and I think we have at our GOP headquarters. We offer everybody that wants to, that will still deal with us, to put their stuff at our headquarters for them to come by and pick up.
Yeah. I've already got some down there. I've had them down there for 2 months, so they're down there. They're ready, along with my push cards. So there's just not any way you cannot get hold of me. I mean, I'm available every day, 7 days a week. Yeah.
Well, all right, Chip. Well, good luck on the race, and if anybody has any questions, they know how to get a hold of you.
Thank you very much, Dan. Thank
Appreciate you
for
coming
having
by.
me.